What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about a very important piece of news in the tech world, which actually happened very recently in the month of December. Exactly what I'm talking about is ChatGPT, a form of artificial intelligence that everyone in the tech world has been talking about. Let's get right into it. So before we actually go into talking about ChatGPT and understanding why there's such a buzz around this new AI, we still need to understand a little bit about its predecessor, and that is actually another form of AI called GPT-3. Okay, so what is GPT-3? GPT-3 is actually just a machine learning model. So right here, we actually have some research paper that is actually defining exactly what GPT-3 is, and it does a pretty good job. It's very clear and concise. Let's actually do a bit of reading. Now, we're not going to read this entire passage, but we're going to look into the most important details. So first of all, GPT-3 as a machine learning platform actually focuses on something called natural language processing. Natural language processing, or NLP as known in the world of AI, is simply looking into this idea of language, this idea of conversing with one person to another. Now, as humans, the way that we've been brought up in society is talking with one another. And it's simply a skill that we kind of take for granted. It seems very natural and very easy for us to comprehend and to do. But when we actually try to convert the way that we talk with each other into computer code, it's actually very difficult. And that's exactly what the field of NLP tries to solve. How can we actually replicate this idea of conversation? Now, the first time you've actually talked to a chatbot, perhaps on some kind of website, you must be amazed at actually how well it could replicate this idea of conversation. That's what natural language processing is all about. But since then, we've actually moved on to better trained and more realistic forms of NLP. You see, this paper actually does a really good job of describing what GPT-3 is. But here's the really crazy thing. This paper was actually written by GPT-3 itself. The AI wrote a paper describing exactly what it does. This is the cover of the paper, and the title simply says, "Can GPT-3 write an academic paper on itself with minimal human input?" And based off that first passage that we actually read, it seemed like it did a really good job, including adding all the academic references, just like we would do with a normal research paper. And that kind of goes to show how far we've actually come when it comes to the world of AI. So where does this journey actually begin? It actually begins with this company right here, and this company is called OpenAI. OpenAI actually has a very notable co-founder, and that is actually Elon Musk. It might not be the first company that you immediately associate Elon Musk with, but it will definitely be one of his most important creations in the decade to come. So in June 2020, they actually released a paper kind of detailing exactly what GPT-3 does. And this totally changes how we understand the current level of artificial intelligence. So exactly how does GPT-3 work, or how did it come to be? Well, GPT-3 actually downloads a lot of information from various sources on the internet. That can be from a lot of different books, it can be from Wikipedia, it can be from a variety of different sources all over the internet. In fact, it actually downloads 45 terabytes of data to actually have a pretty good understanding of various topics that we usually talk about as humans. But essentially what it's trying to do is it's simply just trying to predict what the next word is in a given sentence. And this is actually a very difficult job in the world of computer science. To give you some kind of context of how powerful GPT-3 is, we can actually understand this very basic term, and that's something called parameters. Now, parameters is a term that is frequently used in the machine learning world. We're not going to dive into the exact details of what a parameter is, but on a very oversimplified surface, all we need to understand is that more parameters is good. It provides more accuracy to our machine learning model. Over time, we have actually created machine learning models with more and more parameters. Here's actually a graph kind of showing exactly that. We've had numerous companies over the past few years releasing machine learning model after machine learning model. each breaking the record of the number of parameters that a machine learning model can actually have. In 2018, OpenAI actually released its first GPT model, and that actually had 110 million parameters. In around mid-2019, NVIDIA actually releases its own machine learning model, which absolutely smashes the previous record with around 8.3 billion parameters. And finally, in around early 2020, Microsoft actually releases a model called Turing NLP, and that actually had 17 billion parameters. But then comes OpenAI with GPT-3. And the GPT-3 machine learning model actually has 175 billion parameters, smashing the previous record set by Microsoft. So with such a powerful machine learning model, GPT-3 can actually do a variety of things. This includes writing adverts, it writes emails, does copywriting, it can write code, it can even do a bit of creativity with fiction, poetry, and romantic novels. If it wants to be a bit more philosophical, you can even discuss the meaning of life with it. So since the release of GPT-3 in around 2020, we've actually made huge progress. In fact, just a few weeks ago, the OpenAI team actually released a dialogue-friendly AI chat interface called ChatGPT. ChatGPT is simply just a fine-tuned version of GPT-3, which is able to mimic and replicate human conversation in a super realistic sense. We can actually try and see some of the things that ChatGPT can actually do. Let's say, for example, I want to actually write a quick advert for our company, Preface. All I'd have to do is type it right in here. So let's say something like, write an advert for our company, Preface. So right here, I'm actually going to try and instruct ChatGPT to write an advert for our company. We're going to say that the company specializes in tech education for kids, adults, and corporations. We're based in Hong Kong, and we partner with global industry-leading brands. And as you can see, ChatGPT actually has no problem at all spitting out a very quick advert about our company. You see, the extent of what ChatGPT can do is incredible, and that's kind of why people are saying that it might be AI's iPhone moment. The number of things that ChatGPT can actually do are almost endless. For example, it can write ads from product descriptions, as we've just seen. It can summarize very long text to shortened versions. It can create notes from a summary of text. It can even generate product names for us based off of very simple descriptions of the product. And it can even give us essay outlines based off of a very simple prompt. With such versatile capabilities, it's almost inevitable that a lot of industries will actually be disrupted because of ChatGPT. In fact, there have already been hundreds of new companies that have been started because of the creation of ChatGPT. All of them are simply just taking ChatGPT, tweaking the machine learning model a little bit, and releasing their own product. I think for a long time, our society has constantly talked about AI, machine learning, deep learning, all this kind of stuff, but we've never actually seen some tangible or clear progress. ChatGPT might actually be a very good indicator to show how far we've come in the world of technology and AI. ChatGPT is simply a really good indicator to show how far we've come with artificial intelligence and really tech in general. It will be very important to actually see the number of different industries that get disrupted in the coming year. If you do have the time, we highly recommend that you also try out this new cutting-edge technology. Throw out a few prompts and see what kind of brilliant responses it will give back. That's going to be the end to this recap. Hopefully you've learned something new, and we'll see you in the next one.